I believe in freedom. I believe in giving people the best opportunity to reach their full potential in life. And for me, that means getting the state off people's back, making sure that the state isn't interfering in personal decisions, and giving people as much personal choice as possible. That's what makes me a Conservative. Absolutely. It's not just a perception, though, it's a reality. When you look at the significant investment in infrastructure projects, for example, South Wales has got its proposed metro system, it's got the electrification of the South Wales railway line, it's got the investment in the M4, which is being proposed by the Welsh Government, and yet at the same time, there's nothing of significance which is being proposed in North Wales. We've still got an ageing rail infrastructure. We've still got road problems with our A55 trunk road, which is regularly congested, which is getting flooded on a regular basis, doesn't have a hard shoulder for many miles across it. So just when you look at infrastructure alone, you can see that North Wales is getting a rough deal. Well, we've not had the opportunity to be responsible for the NHS in Wales over the past 17 years of a Labour government. So, understandably, people are never quite sure about what we would do differently. But, we set out our stall at the election, and we made it clear that we wanted a National Health Service that was more responsible and more responsive to the public. That's why we wanted directly elected health commissioners who the public appoint and the public can sack if they're not delivering the sort of health service that the public want. And I think because there's a lack of accountability there, people don't have the opportunities to say, well, I'm sorry, I don't like you, I want you out, and I want a different approach. We have that opportunity in policing now, we have that opportunity to a certain extent with our government. But that's not there for the National Health Service, and as a result you get ministers down in Cardiff Bay washing their hands of difficult decisions that people in different parts of Wales in the health boards are taking. Well, he's delivered an education system which is officially the worst in the UK according to the OECD's independent analysis through the PISA tests. We know that the situation in Wales is not getting any better. In fact, it's gotten worse over the past 10 years, and this is a period where Carwyn Jones has been First Minister, so he's spectacularly failed when it comes to the performance of our schools. We've also seen a situation where we've had a crisis in recruitment in the public sector because of investment decisions which have been inappropriate in terms of our education system. So we're not actually training or equipping people sufficiently well to be able to plug some of those gaps in our public sector, or indeed in parts of the private sector as well. So he's monumentally failed, and that's why we need a completely different approach when it comes to education. I was very pleased indeed to have tabled an amendment to the Social Services and Wellbeing Act as it is now, which resulted in older people's rights being enshrined in Welsh law. They'd never been enshrined in Welsh law before. It was something which was resisted by the Welsh Government, but that amendment got through as a result of one Labour AM using their digit to press the wrong button in the chamber. You can call it divine intervention if you want, but it resulted in a piece of legislation which I'm proud of, and I know means a lot to my constituents. Well, Wales is a nation with lots of people of faith, and faith has shaped the modern Wales we see today. Our school system was established by people of faith in the church in Wales, and indeed by the Methodist Sunday School movement. Many of our hospitals, our historic hospitals, were started by people of faith. Many of our public and welfare services were started by people of faith because it was their faith that inspired them to do so. So I'm proud of the Christian heritage in particular that Wales has got, and that means a lot to me because I've got a personal faith as well in Jesus, which motivates me to want to serve the public to the best of my ability. And I think that faith communities have a huge amount that they bring to the table when we work with them. I think the UK is less divided than it was now. At the time of the Brexit vote, there were clear divisions. It was a knife edge in many places across the UK, and here in Wales, a good proportion of people voted on one side. It was almost an even split. But I think now the majority of people in Wales accept the result of that referendum and just want to make as big a success of Brexit as they possibly can. And I've been very pleased to see the so-called experts, the pundits, proved wrong since the Brexit result. We were all told that our economy was going to collapse, that we were going to end up in recession within months, that our prospects for growth would be massively reduced, and yet quite the reverse seems to have happened.